Thank you, Little Trucking Bozo, for that incredible intro. It's awesome! Okay, so I've been working on the Ken Hovind video, and that will be next. I promise! Heart promise! But this morning, I got a video from Freedom of Speech about sexual terror. That's actually the name of the video, I think. And I will be making this a video response to said video. That video in a mere 55 seconds manages to brilliantly convey something that is really pissing me off, and it's quite frankly a very important topic. And what is that? Well, as you could probably guess, how afraid of sex the Abrahamic religions are. They'll perform castration and genital mutilation on men and women to prevent them from having pleasure. It's disgusting. It really is. And they will urge abstinence out the ass. Abstinence, abstinence, abstinence. It's bullshit. To them, sex is something you do with only one person in a dark room in a certain position, and you only do it to have children. Everything else is unholy and unclean about the activity. And, well, that's basically why we're so fucking afraid of sex in American culture today. And why in places like Italy, children are having sex ed lessons at the age of 3. And while it takes us to the age of 15 to have it here. Now there's a reason for that, and I'm not really going to argue if that's right or wrong, because it gets into a whole can of worms I really don't feel like opening, so I'm not going to do it. I know when I'm opening a Pandora's box of craziness. I stay away when I can. Okay, but basically these Bronze Age beliefs totally and utterly disgust me. And I like the pagan traditions better, actually. In the pagan traditions, humans are a part of nature, and therefore we are animals. In the pagan tradition, even if they don't believe we are animals by some stretch of the imagination, which most of them do, then they don't think it's bad. To pagans, sex and these sexual urges are a part of being human, and like every other part of being human, it should be celebrated to its fullest. That's a novel idea. Actually, it's not. It dates back to even before the Greeks. Before I go on, though, let me say this. I am not urging rampant sexings. That would be just weird. In fact, I disagree with that premise. What I am urging is to fuck abstinence. Because it's a stupid idea. To do that is to deny the fact that you are human. And I know this probably sounds very strange, but you know what? These right-wing religious fuckers are getting their noses in places they really don't need to be. And Judaism and Islam and Christianity especially have always been about this. They've always been about, oh my god, let's fuck with people's bedroom lives. You know what? Doesn't matter what I do behind closed doors with anybody. What anybody does with anybody else behind closed doors is their business. And so long as they're not raping someone, no one else should give a shit. And it's insane. It really is insane. Abstinence, abstinence, abstinence. You know what? No. It's okay to have sex. It's not an evil, dirty thing. And it's okay to enjoy it because it is sex. That's perfectly fine. That's okay. Of course, once again, I'm not urging rampant sexings, and I really think that there should be some moderation. You gotta have protection. You gotta be smart and know what you're doing. You gotta make sure you care for the person so you don't get into an unbreakable bond with them. Sex can do that. And you've gotta make sure you're mentally prepared for what's gonna happen. And sometimes you don't have all those things before you realize you don't, and bad things can happen. But if you have those things, and if you're okay with it, and if your partner is okay with it, and you know your partner is okay with it, and you know you're okay with it, then go ahead. There's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong with having sex before marriage? I've said this before, and I'm going to end up saying it again. It's okay to have kids and raise kids without being married. And, In fact, one of my friends, he won't get married to his girlfriend because the the two of them are both in deep financial shit, and it's just going to get so much worse if they get married. They don't want that, but they still love each other and they still want to have kids and raise them. So they live together like a married couple, and they raise their child like a married couple, but they're not married. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. And I defy anyone who says there is. Oh, it's unholy, it's against what the Bible says. Well, not everyone believes in the Bible, you shit faces, and even if they do, it doesn't matter. We're not talking about what the Bible says, we're talking about what science says, and science says it's okay as long as you make sure you're doing it right and you make sure you know what the fuck you're doing. It's funny, know what the fuck you're doing. Okay, that was stupid. But yeah, I mean, this is a big thing with the gays, too. It doesn't matter what one gay guy does with another gay guy. It shouldn't matter what any two people do with each other. It shouldn't matter what I do if I have a girlfriend. It shouldn't matter what anyone else does. You know what? Leave them alone. Why does it matter to you? Why do you need to go sticking your nose in their private lives? As long as people aren't fucking in the streets, it shouldn't matter. As long as people aren't going on rampant rages and raping everyone in sight, it shouldn't matter. So why are you making a big deal out of it? Ugh! Okay, people. I gotta go. Kent Hovind is next. I promise. Heart promise. Alright. Peace, love, and the inevitable flowers. Mwah. Always good to drink deep from the cup of life.